come down here. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Top250. This is episode 2, film number 245. We're getting them down. And it's a film called Before Midnight, which is a Richard Linklater film with Ethan Hawke and a few other people in it.
I think it's Juliet Delpy, I want to say, or Delphi.
Oh, mate, we've got the
probably
page
got,
up
probably
here.
Got that wrong already, which
What's
is embarrassing.
The one? Not that page.
That.
Yep, Julie Delpy.
Julie Delpy. Okay,
Delpy.
Yeah.
You got that one.
And they're pretty much the
right.
only two characters in the whole film.
Pretty much.
That's what you need to know.
So, I guess this is the interesting thing about this. I've been thinking more about it, of course. Yeah, sorry, it's been a while. Although it probably won't have been a while for you. Basically, we did we did episode 0 and episode 1 on the ssame night, as you might be able to tell.
That was literally nearly 2 months ago.
Yeah, that was November, and so it took me ages to get through the editing and shit. So
when you see episode 1 though, and the amount of editing that's gone into that, you understand why.
So we're not going to
be so long to put that together.
Yeah, we're not going to be doing.
Respect you for doing all that editing.
Well, you know, I love my craft. What can I say?
Clearly.
So we won't be doing that sort of thing again. It was kind of, we didn't really know what we were doing per se, but we just kind of went with it, and we thought, fuck it, we'll record it. If it's any good, we'll put it in.
Like teething issues, you know.
Well, we just kind of work out how this is all going to work. Yeah. And I'm actually just going to minimise this over here.
That is distracting, having our own faces looking back at us on that.
But now it's better.
This is better though.
So yeah, it was just kind of ironing out some creases. So episode 2. Professional now. We've got it down to an exact science. We know exactly what we're doing. You even made some notes.
At least Comedy Central level.
Comedy Central level. Not quite
BBC Two yet. But Comedy Central would probably pick this up.
Lap this up.
Probably pick this up. Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, the reason we did that, the reason I did that, you didn't really have any say in any of it.
No, I long for the ride.
You're a performance monkey I drag around to watch some films.
You say performance artist.
No,
yeah, at the end I do a bit of mime about what I thought about the film. No, I don't.
So, Nosferatu is actually, I'm fairly sure, royalty-free and in the public domain. Yes. And if I'm wrong about that, we are about to get fucked. But
and you'll never see the show again. You'll probably never see this episode, to be fair.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. So if you're seeing this, everything went okay. But, so it was quite funny because it was a very old film and it was silent, so we could talk over it. And we just kind of had a bit of fun and messed around a bit. And we could show you the clips and stuff. Obviously, we didn't want to just upload the whole film again, just with our ugly faces kind of there. Well, your ugly face. And then, but
very personal.
Yeah, so we just, I suppose, highlights. I mean, I called it the highlights.
It's literally like an hour and 20 film.
Well, no, to be fair,
we weren't that funny. I mean, what can you do?
It's about 50 minutes.
Okay,
which is
in which
still
case,
quite a lot.
Still a significant proportion of the film.
Yeah, there's about half an hour you don't see of just us kind of sitting going, what the fuck is happening? And we still included some of that. Yeah, so hopefully you've seen that and enjoyed that. And you can go straight to the review of that. So this episode is going to be more like how we'll be going forward.
Yeah, straight
to the review. So in that way, this is back to my point I was trying to make. This is going to be almost like a book club in a way. Because you guys have got the list of the films we'll be watching. So you can kind of watch ahead and then watch this and go, the fuck are these guys? They don't know what they're talking about.
No, that's the first time I've heard you describe it that way. And that's a really nice way of thinking about it, actually. It is like a book club that everyone can participate, people can watch the films themselves.
That's the ideal way. I mean,
that's perfect.
You don't have to watch these films if you don't want.
Obliged,
or you may have seen them ages ago and just want to know what we think. So... so without further ado, with that bit of caretaking done with, was episode 1 was an outlier. Not all episodes are going to be like this. Most episodes, pretty much all episodes, will be like this, which is just the review, and it's a book club, and watch the films, and Joe's ugly face. So we've got all that covered now.
Here every week. Not going anywhere.
So I'm going to crack open a frosty one. It's not even frosty.
I've already drunk all of mine.
It's about room temperature. You can have mine if you want. Do you want that last one?
No, I'm fine. I'm okay.
So, crack one open, as they say in the parlance of our times. And Joe, what do you think of Beyond Midnight?
It's not called Beyond Midnight, is it? It's called
Before Midnight. Beyond Midnight.
We'll get that in the edit. Okay, well, can I start with a little bit of a small bit of background?
Yeah, go ahead. Do whatever the fuck you want, man.
So the director of this film is Richard Linklater, who in the last couple of years, or last year specifically, got a bit more fame with Boyhood, which won some awards. And Boyhood kind of
won some awards. Yeah, that's a nice
won quite a lot of awards. I think that is in the list coming up at some point. I don't know where it is, but I'm pretty sure Boyhood is on there. Anyway, the whole Boyhood you've probably heard about, because it's the idea is that it filmed the same kid from when he was like 6 years old to when he was like, I don't know, 23. They basically filmed him for like 17 years or so.
Episode 230, not episode 230, episode 20.
Episode 20 will be Boyhood, so we're getting there quite soon. You know, we're going to get to that one.
The link is in the description.
Yeah. And the sort of like the spiritual kind of like predecessor to Boyhood is these films Before Midnight, which Before Midnight is actually the third in a trilogy of films by Richard Linklater. So there was Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and now this one, Before Midnight. So you haven't seen the other two.
No.
I'm not going to spoil them, but I'll quickly outline. So they're all set 9 years apart and filmed 9 years apart as well, which is why it's kind of a predecessor to Boyhood, is what I mean. It's like the actors and actresses were the age they would have been when those films were made. So Before Sunrise is the two, they're like students, basically sort of 20-somethings, meeting on a train and falling in love.
It was Ethan Hawke and...
With the same two people, yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And this was 18 years ago, so it must have been 95, I guess.
94, they say in the film.
94, okay. And then at the end of that film, you're not sure, like, will they meet again? Will they just break up? Will they not see each other after this trip they've, like, shared together? And then the second film is them meeting again in Paris 9 years later, and sort of what's happened in between then. Are they still together? Have they seen each other in that time? Blah, 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 blah. And this one is another 9 years after that, set in like 2013. Well, the film's out in 2013, so I guess you can sort of say it's set around then. And it's them. They are not married, but might as well be. They've got kids.
Yeah, they got some twin girls.
He has a child from a past relationship who lives with his mother in England, and there's sort of some tension about that. In America, and there's some tension around sort of like he doesn't get to see that kid as much as he wants to, and no one can remember whether his name is Hank or Henry, apparently. I mean,
yeah, we did notice.
I'm still confused about that, but we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, I mean, I noticed when we're scrolling down, so in the credits, he's third on the bill.
He is Hank.
He's Hank, but he definitely is referred to as Henry quite a lot in this film.
I think.
So I don't know what his actual name is, but he's definitely that guy's son. I'm pretty sure on that. I
was expecting there to be a twist where it was like, oh, there's two kids, and the wife's always talking about Henry, and the guy's always talking about Hank. So I think the thing is, his name is Henry, and the dad just calls him Hank. As a nickname.
I think that makes most sense. So the first thing I'd say, sort of right out the gate. So obviously, this list is sort of compiled on lots of different critics' lists, all put together to make this list of 250. And I personally think, I love these films, I'm a big fan of these films, but for me personally, the third in the series is the weakest of the three, I think.
Really?
I know the other two, I'm pretty sure, are on this list higher up. And I think the main reason this one is on the list is because critics that are making the list have put these three on together.
Right.
If you know what I mean. In the same way that a lot of people would talk about the Star Wars trilogy as, you know, all three together. You know, they sort of group them together. I think that's happened. You know, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, the third one. With the classics, the ones people really love. You know, back in the noughties when Star Wars was really good.
So you're killing me.
So that is, I think, is part of the reason why this one is sort of made its list. I still think it's a really, really good film. I think watching it just now, there are things about it which aren't perfect. I mean, you go ahead, because I've seen it before, and I'm not quite a big fan of the director. So, what did you think first time watching this film?
Well, I quite like that you've kind of taken the lead on this one, which
sorry,
it's good. I think you should have, because you've seen it before. Yeah. So this is your second watching, and you've seen the others.
Yeah.
I was coming in this totally blind. I didn't know what this was. I did a quick IMDb before I got home today. Romance, drama. I've totally forgotten Ethan Hawke's in it. I'm quite a big fan of him. well, I say quite a big fan. I only really know him from a few things. Or Gattaca mainly. I don't know if you've seen Gattaca. I've never seen
Gattaca.
Really good. That's the one I've seen recently with him in. I'm sure there's obviously others, this was quite good. I was quite unsure about it going in. I didn't know what I was getting into, and it was quite good. Yeah. Now, one question that I think we will ask every episode is, where would you put this in a top 250 list? Like, if you made a list of the best 250 films, would this be on the list, and where would it be? And because obviously that's quite a lot of films to keep in your head unless you're making a list, which we probably won't do. It's more of a hypothetical. Like, hypothetically, is this one of the top 250 movies? Personally, I'm not so sure. I don't think so.
I'm not so sure.
But then it raises the question, can you name 250 films better?
Yeah.
Which I probably couldn't.
Yeah, I think there's lots of really good things about this film. But like I say, I think part of what makes it so good is if, as you will at some point see the other two.
Yeah.
I watched, all three in succession. I mean, I'd seen the other two before, and then I remember I'd seen them sort of not growing up, but like when I was getting into film when I was like 15 or so. And the director, Linklater, said like, oh, they probably won't make any more of them. Then out of nowhere, they were just sort of like, yeah, we're making a third one, actually. Which was quite cool for me, someone that liked the other two films. So I remember actually being really like excited for this one, and I actually went and saw it in the cinema when it came out. And like I say, I think it is still a really good film, but probably the weakest of the three. And what makes it good enough to sort of get included in lists like this is that it is sort of buoyed by the two other films, where if you have seen the other two, you already know the characters a lot more. You really like those characters, and you've seen the characters being 23 and then 30, and now they're meant to be like in their 40s.
Well, that's because that's an
and
interesting thing.
That makes a difference for me personally watching it, which is interesting. You watching it, sort of.
Yeah, I have no.
You've never met these characters before at all. You don't know who they are.
No idea.
Whereas I remember when I first sat down in the cinema, the opening scenes where it's him sort of saying goodbye to his son at the airport, and then it's sort of like he goes to the car and it's Celine is in the car and it's the daughters. Before you walked in the cinema, you didn't know whether they were going to be like together or not,
right?
Because the second film was left on a sort of like an open
cliffhanger,
kind of basically a cliffhanger,
but a romantic cliffhanger.
A romantic cliffhanger. So in the cinema, it was a bit more exciting to be like, so he does still know his son, but he's going back somewhere else. He doesn't live with them. Then like, and Celine is still with him. That's cool. Like, so those things are more important if you'd seen the other two.
Right. So I was totally going into this blind, and so the first scene we could almost do this scene by scene, because it's about 3. It's probably about 7 or 8, and they're almost like acts of a play. Yeah, now, I mentioned this to Joe during it. I was like, this is just like a play, because they have very kind of long scenes that are kind of set up to be long takes. But first you've got this intro with him and his son in the airport. And I was like, okay, this bit of setup. He's got a son. He's moving away. This guy lives in Greece now. Blah, blah, blah. It was pretty good visual storytelling. It told me stuff without having to say, well, son, you've got to go back to America now because I live in Paris, but I'm here on holiday in Greece.
It's very true.
It didn't tell me any of that stuff, but within 5-10 minutes, I knew that stuff. So that was quite well told. And it was nice to see his connection with his son, Hank / Henry. And
Hankry. We'll call him Hankry from now on.
We like the father straight off, that's fine. He goes out to a car, French woman there, some blonde daughters in the back. Okay, he's got kids with this other woman. She's French. They're in Greece. Okay, I've worked that out.
Yeah.
Then the car scene, or Act 1, as I will call it, is pretty good. I quite enjoyed it. Like, immediately, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. It was framed like a whole take. Which I'm such a sucker for those one takes.
Oh, yeah.
Like in Goodfellas and stuff. And like all of Birdman, I was quite impressed. Even though Birdman, you can kind of see the cuts. But this one was quite impressive. Because there's also, weirdly, and this actually improved my enjoyment of the film, and this is something I told you right near the very start. All of the the dialogue is all very naturalistic. It sounds like real people. I love that in films. Like The Big Lebowski, the dialogue in that is fantastic. And that's why it's one of my favourite films. But in this one, very naturalistic dialogue as well. They sounded like a couple having a chat.
Just talking about their lives and talking about their kids.
Yeah, absolutely. They sounded pretty good about it. And there was phone calls and stuff like that. And they were reacting to stuff.
It feels very real.
Yeah, it feels very real. And in a regular film, that would be a lot of ad-lib, I imagine. But I'd read a bit of trivia on the IMDb trivia section as I was just casually looking up this film. And the top bit of trivia was, it was all scripted and there was no improvisation at all. And I was... when I first read that, I thought, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, when I read trivia and it says, the scene where blah, blah, blah was all improvised, I'm like, wow, that's great. So then seeing this had no improvisation and it was all direct to script, I was okay, sure, but I have no idea what the film is. So then we have this car scene, there's a very natural conversation. I'm like, this is all script. That's ridiculous. It's so well done. And there is some cuts and stuff, but like you can't fault them for having at least some cuts. There are definitely
still like 7 minute long takes at least, where it's literally just them chatting.
Very well done.
With no camera movement at all. It's just them chatting about
and for me, it was like, even as someone who hasn't seen the other two, it was a good intro to both the characters. I already liked the father because he seems like a nice guy. He's got a son, seems to be in a bit of a troubled scenario. This wife, she seems quite funny. They were making jokes and genuinely having a nice time, having a nice relationship. The kids in the back seat were doing a great job of being dead, being asleep, and there was some good stuff. So we kind of, hello, these are the characters. You like these characters? Yes, I do. Okay, and just having that extra bit of trivia, and I kept coming back to it during the film, that it was. None of it was ad-libbed. It was really surprising to me. Every time I was watching the film, I kept reminding myself this was all by script. Yeah. And in a way, that then became impressive. As ad-libbed sections are usually impressive. This, if you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
I've got the point through. I was just trying to say that.
Yeah, it's sort of...
It was as impressive as ad-libbing is.
Yeah, but in the opposite direction.
Because it's so correct in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then they kind of get to this Greek villa and they have a bit of fun, chatting to things. Okay, he's a writer, she is just a lady, she has a job, there's some wind turbines. We never really know what she does.
You never really find out exactly some kind of environmental
something. But
related job.
So then she's hanging out in the kitchen, they've got some Greek friends, he's chatting about books,
Greek
that's all
mates.
cool. Then, I guess, Act 2 is the dinner.
Yeah.
And so this is a romantic film. And it gets quite into, like, what is love? Baby don't hurt me.
No more.
Don't hurt me no more. But, it kind of... And that scene, for me, I did kind of lean over to you and go, God, they're really labouring this. Well, actually, that scene I wasn't too fussed with.
It's the scene after that, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of...
It's where you leaned over.
Yes.
And I do...
forced it a little bit. So, I do have a question for you. Are the other two films kind of about what is love and how do we deal with love, that sort of thing? Do they go into that, or... Are they as romantic? Or
I have to admit, I can't remember perfectly, but I feel like this is the one that gets the most sort of...
soppy.
I mean, you want to say pretentious, but I don't think it's totally
I will say that word.
I've seen films significantly more pretentious.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
As well. But you're totally right. There are scenes where it flips between this naturalism of them just talking as sort of like naturalist couple, and then one of them will be like, well, it just makes me think about life and just about what it means to be, in love. And I'm like, there are bits that I have to admit, although I love these films, where it does jar a bit and you're like, hang on, they're meant to be like 1 minute they're this naturalist couple arguing about what the girls did that day.
Yeah.
And then, like, literally a millisecond later, it's just sort of like,
but
well, what is consciousness? What is the self?
Yeah,
I'm like, really? God. You've got time to... I mean, I'm sure people do talk about that, but the way they talk about it feels contrived at points.
And so this dinner scene, they kind of it's interesting where this is when we start to see a few cracks in their relationship, and they're like, maybe they don't get on perfectly well, because she then brings up, there's this whole point about the moving to Chicago bit, which really pissed me off, as we'll get on to later.
Strong opinions about this.
He casually brings up during that car ride, he sort of says, I don't know quite how he phrases it, but he mentions moving to Chicago, or at least just being near his son or whatever, to be a better father. And at the time, she kind of laughs it off almost. Well, not laughs, but it kind of goes under the radar.
But even in that scene, she makes a sort of thing of like, "Oh, you want us to move to Chicago?"
Yeah.
Chicago. And even in
she
that
does
scene,
a little bit,
he says, "I didn't say that.
Exactly.
I didn't say."
And then
this is what you're getting to.
Yeah, she brings it up again at the lunch, and then that's kind of where we see these fractures in their relationship. And it's interesting because that scene specifically, we've got them as a couple, 40-ish. Yeah. Then we've got a much younger couple, kind of mid to late 20s. Yeah. Who are a similar thing. Like the girl was French and the guy was Greek. Yeah. And then we had. Were they both Greek, the other couple?
I think so.
Something. Yeah, there was
and
another
a couple sort of closer to their age, I guess.
Closer to their age, maybe a bit younger, a bit older. But they got on quite well as well. So it was interesting. There was these three couples discussing romance and stuff. And then there were two old folks, some fogies there, and they were discussing, well, they were all discussing love and stuff. And there was this old, probably the oldest, was this old writer, and he had some interesting philosophical things to say. And he'd lost his wife or something. Really clear. He has a very strong British accent.
Odd accent, I'd say. Like,
I think he was.
I think it's meant to sound British. I'm not sure if it did.
Yeah, well,
maybe he's a British guy. But
I think
it sounded a bit odd. I
think he was a heavily British guy because he speaks Greek at one point in an earlier scene in the.
I think he talks to the other guy. Yeah, good point.
So I think he's just an old British writer who's lived in Greece a long time, something like that. Okay. And then there's a woman as well. And both of them have lost their partners. Yeah. So they have some interesting things to say about losing love and that sort of thing. And I was kind of generally okay with the whole scene. And sure, it gets a little deep at times. And like, oh, what is conscience? Yeah. But there was kind of interesting to see these different couples and the way they were reacting and talking about things. And we see that, okay, maybe these two aren't as close as we think. Yeah. And oh no, love is fleeting just as life is, blah blah blah.
I would say in that scene it's beautifully played out between the actors.
Yeah.
Even the times where the script, I think, sort of goes up and down, in my opinion. I still think the body language between them, there's times when they're like clearly quite against each other. They're sort of like one of them says something that pisses off the other and you can see it. And then at the end, like, the old woman sort of relays a story of losing her big love in her life.
It's like, how much she shit, man, him. Just be glad you got someone.
Sort of like, they get a bit closer and hold hands. And I really like that scene and how, like, they move in and out of each other.
Yeah, it was very
That's
kind of
cool.
Subtly done, but not so much that you don't notice it.
Yeah.
And it was just that scene particularly. They start high, there's a bit of a low, and then they end not as high, but still a little bit. Yeah. So then the next scene is almost like a few minutes after, in a way, like the next hour. They're kind of walking along the beach or walking to the beach or something like that. And there's still a long kind of walking shot. And so again, this is kind of when I said this is very similar to a play in a way, because a lot of the time it happens in one place, essentially. Mm-hmm. They move, but it kind of is in one place. And you can imagine this being... They would just have a backdrop and they would just walk backwards and forwards or something like that. Or walk, pause, do that whole thing. So it almost could be a play. Yeah, it could be written as such. And that was kind of, that, you know, increased my enjoyment a bit. Because that's kind of the thing about long takes. I mean, that's what Birdman is. It's a round play, so everything's a long take. But that goes a few more places. There's not quite the clear act structure.
Yeah, I think whereas Birdman is a lot of how impressive it is. Like, the camera follows them when they're like moving through rooms.
It's not quite as clear.
This is less about that and more about they are literally walking in a straight line.
But
a 20-minute shot.
It's quite a clear shot. The fact we can talk about it in this way like the car scene, the dinner scene, the walking scene, and the rest.
Which we'll get to.
But,
Don't click that red cross just yet.
But it's it was that scene was quite interesting. But again, they like had a pretty good relationship, and I was quite sympathetic towards him. He seemed like a nice guy in a troubled spot. This scene, we start learning more about this troubled relationship he's had with his son and the mother. Yeah. And it's been quite hard for him. And then the wife, or not wife, girlfriend, the French girlfriend lady, is being quite cool with this. And then she's being quite funny and la la la. But then again, we see there's a few cracks, and she starts being and asking, the questions that women ask sometimes that you're not meant to answer, or are you meant to answer, and what are they trying to get out of me? And he kind of doesn't really fall for them, and you're like, oh yeah, easy. And so again, there's a bit of playfulness, but then a bit of kind of, And I was kind of, my opinion of her all through the film, really, was like, what? Who is this bitch? And then, oh, she's quite a funny, nice person. And, so that was a bit odd. That was kind of one of the first scenes where it was quite obvious that something was up.
Yeah.
And,
I think I've got a few feelings about that, but I'll let you carry on.
That ends on a kind of high, I suppose, and then they watch the sunset, and this is... So, this is before midnight. The other was, before sunset and after sunset?
Before sunset and before sunrise.
Right. So there was obviously a thing, and then in the dinner scene, the widow was talking about how the fleeting moments like sunrise and sunset are like life and relationships and that sort of shit. So, it's all a bit them watching the sunset and la la la. And then I did just have to yell cliche because it kind of felt so... Oh God, and when the sun goes down on the world, the sun goes down on their relationship. Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So,
but that scene in particular, you could have cut. Because that scene is literally them watching the sunset. And they're not talking about anything else. In a film full of dialogue, talking about other things, in that scene, they're literally just being like, sun's still there, sun's still there, sun's gone.
What I would have liked...
And I just thought that was... I agree, there's a bit too obvious. Like, okay, we get the metaphor,
Yeah. So what I would have liked with that is we have a shot of them on, like, the pier or wherever they are, just sitting there, maybe holding hands, were they holding hands, something like that, sitting together, and then you see the sun is low, and then we just have the sun setting, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Just like
you didn't need to
5 seconds. We didn't need to narrate it. We get the idea.
Yeah.
But and then where do we go from there? Do we go straight to the hotel? Is that the hotel scene?
Then it's to the hotel.
Oh, bloody hell.
But before that, well, it's not that important, but they check into the hotel. And there's the book signing thing, which just sort of a running sort of theme in the book, which makes more sense in the film, sorry. And if you've seen the other two films, is this first film where he meets this girl in, I think they're in Paris. No, not even Paris, from Amsterdam or something like that.
They're on a train to Vienna.
On a train to Vienna. Oh, yeah. Okay, you just read that. I thought you just knew it really well, and I was like, you haven't even seen this film any more than me. But the point is, during the second film, he's written a book about meeting this girl in this one thing, and then clearly it's implied in the third film he's written a book about the second film, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's written a book about how he re-met this girl and how that came to pass. And clearly he quite likes the attention of people saying, like, you're the cool guy that wrote those books.
You're the cool guy.
Whereas she's a bit more like, there's loads of fucking awful scenes of me being fucked by this guy in these books. Yeah, and all these people are reading them, and I don't think she likes being associated with it as much as he likes to talk about it.
Yeah.
But that's not really like a big theme, that's just sort of like an undercurrent.
No, it's a little bit. And there's a bit where she's asked to sign the books, and she's like, eh. And then he kind of says, yeah, she'll sign the books. And it's like a bit of a dick move by him, but why is she so fucking prissy all the time? Just sort yourself out. And then we have the hotel scene,
which is probably the biggest scene of the film.
Probably
we
the
weren't
biggest
checking the timings, but
No,
I
no,
feel like
that was
a
about
long
20
one.
minutes. It
At
was
least I feel it must have been like half an hour of
It was-
that hotel room.
interesting. So they get
Which
this hotel
goes
room,
back and forth, and
and it was kind of paid for by. It was a gift from the
Yeah.
other couple who were similar to their age.
which is important because they clearly don't really want to spend a night in a hotel together. They're
Yeah.
clearly still close. You get that from the car
Yeah.
ride, but obviously I assume not close enough that they
Yeah, it
they
was
seem
a
quite
weird
against
one.
having
Yeah.
this hotel room
I
together.
think
Until the other couple are like, no, it's a present, you have to use it.
Yeah, which
is
again, a bit of a
interesting.
dick move from them as well.
Well, yeah, I mean,
God, everyone being dicks. in
no
this film.
means no.
But no, Joe. 4 no's and a yes is still a yes.
I don't know what that's from, but I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly.
So they get to this hotel room and it all looks fairly nice and they're fairly optimistic and they get pretty down to the loving pretty quickly. And I noticed this when we got to the IMDb page. It's rated R, and
Yeah, okay.
so we got some boobs.
There are some
and
boobs.
that's about it. And they say F a few times. They
Literally
say F.
Hundreds of viewers just clicked cross on us and started watching already. You know,
It's yeah, there were some boobs and they swore a bit, but R really? I don't know.
yeah, I'm not
That's a
sure
bit
I'd say
much.
it's an R rated.
That's like the American equivalent of an 18, I
yeah.
guess. But we have a bit of a weirder. Well, I don't know if it is weirder. It's just
I
more
think
specific.
both systems are weird. Really.
Yeah, but
We'll get
I,
to that in another episode,
I don't
guess.
think this would have been an 18. Basically,
No.
in the UK,
No, I'm
I think
sure
this
it
would be a
wouldn't have been.
15.
Yeah.
And I mean, we could check, but the keyboard's way over there.
Miles away.
So they have a bit of a lovey-dovey scene, and that's all fine. And then the son calls, and he's in London.
That's what ruins it, isn't it?
And then she says something like, good luck with your mum, and stuff like that. And then he kind of brings it up, oh, it's a little bit mean of you. And then it just spirals way out of proportion.
Yeah.
And they have this massive fight for like 20, 25 minutes. And it's aggravating.
It is aggravating.
Because I've come, even though this was like 40 minutes into the film,
Yeah.
I've come to like these characters. I sympathise with the guy. I quite like the wife. She seems quite a funny kind of woman, and but no, then she starts taking all this shit way out of context, and he doesn't really do himself any favours.
Yeah,
And
I think I would say it's on.
both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
you
no
finish.
one person's fault, but
Yeah.
it feels really annoying, and I wasn't getting annoyed because I was not enjoying it. In a way, it was kind of I wanted to be in the room saying, "Look, fucking just calm down."
Exactly.
And
No, it totally reminded me of times during when I was at university, living with other couples.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
argue about stupid shit, and you just wanted to
yeah.
step in and be like, "I'm sorry, are you fucking kidding me? Are you still arguing about this?" And that's how you kind of feel watching
Yeah.
this. But I feel that what's good about that is very true. Is that real life couples do argue about ridiculous.
it seems
rubbish, as I'm sure we all have
fairly
done.
realistic, yeah. But she
But
brings
that's why it's aggravating, because you like to think watching it like, I think naturally we associate more with the guy because we are guys.
A little bit,
And you think, why would you say that?
yeah.
Dude, why would you say that? Don't say that. That's just going to like cause a whole other argument. Don't say that.
Yeah.
But then you've looked back at your own decisions and arguments and been like, oh, I've definitely said stuff more stupid than that in arguments. I can't really judge.
Yeah.
I think in that way it's quite honest in that a
It
lot
is
of
a
people
bit, yeah.
do talk like that.
And
to an extent.
there's an interesting bit of like, this is all just happening in a hotel room, and it's like 25 minutes in one room. And they do some interesting stuff where like they both start in the bedroom, and then he moves into the bathroom, she moves into the living room, and then there's a bit of that, and then he moves into the living room, and then she moves to the table, and they kind of play around it a little bit, and then he's back in the bathroom, and so it's not totally just two people sitting on a sofa having a go.
Yeah, it's not really
But and then also the dialogue is pretty good. And again, I just keep going back to how was all of that memorized and none of that slightly ad-libbed. But no, that was apparently all stuck to the script and everything. It's very interesting to see from that perspective.
Definitely.
And that was kind of one of the scenes where I was like, shit, this is like really well done. And again, there was quite a few like long takes in there, which was quite nice to see. But yeah, she brings up the Chicago stuff again, and by the end of that scene, I'm totally done with her as a character. I'm like, wow, I fucking hate you now. And I'm not that much better on Ethan Hawke's character. I'm like, you're a bit of a tit as well. What are you doing? Like, apparently they love each other and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then, well, it's pretty much the end of the film now. I've just realised.
But I think during that scene, if you're being sort of hypercritical, one of the things I'd say is, I think you felt the same as you just said. I naturally was more just against her, saying she is being unreasonable at this point. He is trying to solve it. He's being crap at it at points.
Yeah.
But he's trying to, and she's messing up. And then I kind of thought, well, it is written by a guy, though, which makes me think, like, of course, the guy writing it is going to want the guy to be the good guy to an extent.
Well, I don't know if he is
to be the
good
bad
guy necessarily.
No, probably
but,
not. But the times when it started to veer more against her, I was like, yeah, I'm against her too. Then I realised, like, am I only thinking that because it's written that way?
You're a
you know
sexist
what I mean?
pig, Joe. That's what it is.
That is it.
And that's probably the time for us to segue into the gender issues raised in this film.
Yeah, do you want to start?
Well, I don't think we will talk about it that much. I mean,
I don't think there's anything too drastic
really.
on either side in this
They
one.
do bring it up a bit. They kind of see like how men see relationships and how women see relationships, that sort of thing. And that's a bit of whatever. And then the female character, a lot of what she's feeling conflicted about is sort of feeling like her career is threatened and she doesn't want to become this housewife.
Absolutely.
When I say apparently, as to the film, the main character Ethan Hawke is a writer and does spend his time at home. So in a way, he's the house husband, and she is having a career.
Yeah.
But she's any sort of thing that's slightly threatening that, and she's very defensive about, and keeps going on about this moving to Chicago thing. And that's kind of what made me like start disliking her character so much, is because it all spiraled out of this moving to Chicago thing in a way. I mean, it all spiraled out of him divorcing the mother or whatever. But well, you know, this specific kind of rift, she keeps bringing up this Chicago thing, and he keeps saying, "I never said that. If you don't want to move to Chicago, we won't." But she keeps going on about it and saying like, "Oh, it's my dream job and it's my dream career and that sort of thing." It's like, well, fine, just keep doing your career. I'm not going to stop writing. Like, they just, I find it really annoying in film specifically, but also in real life, when I see people arguing, and I think I know the perfect thing that he could say to stop this, or at least kind of diffuse it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yet he won't, and then I can't, like, well, in a film context I can't interject, and then in a real life context you don't really want to interject.
No,
you're like, dude, just bring up the. But it's like, I don't know. I've never really been in that huge an argument like that. So personally, I don't really know.
Either. Fortunately,
so, yeah.
And I guess there's another thing about it is, I said early on that I think this is my least favourite of the three films, and we'll talk about those ones when they come up. But briefly, the first one's more about when you first meet someone and falling in love. The second one's more about sort of like meeting that person years later and rekindling it. Whereas those two themes I can relate to more. Whereas this one, where the theme is when you have been together for 7 years, and
struggling,
harder,
breaking
I have
down.
to admit, I have no experience of that whatsoever. I mean, if I did, I would have started dating as someone 16 and stood with them, which I'm not. So,
well,
I mean, I guess in that sense,
we've been together that.
Well, we've been together.
We've been together for like 20 years.
Wow, when you put it like that, Jesus.
So
you're stifling my career.
Do you want to move to Chicago?
I want to move to Chicago.
So, and then after that hotel scene, very fiery, very kind of infuriating. I was really not liking either of their characters at this point. And then she kind of storms off, and I'm like, well, fuck, is that it? And then and
there's like that last.
Then we have Act 5 prologue or epilogue it would be. And she's sitting at a table on her own, and he comes up and does a bit of an act, and I think he did some good stuff. He did the time machine.
I mean, I'm a sucker for a good time machine gag.
And he seemed like he kind of was just being very light-hearted and trying to bring it down a bit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I could kind of respect that. And he had, like, the letter from the 82-year-old version of herself and that sort of thing. And, that's it. She ends the hotel room scene with saying, I don't think I love you anymore. So, bam!
Which is a pretty...
Right in the gut.
Low blow.
But then he
Harsh.
still fucking goes after her because he loves her. And it's all a bit soppy and lovey. And they have a bit of a thing. And eventually she turns around. Not literally. Because she would have fallen in the lake. But
again, that scene has like quite a lot of body language. Is that they're facing away, then one of them turns, the other one turns, and eventually they both sort of turn in, and it's a bit.
And we have the slow
it's good.
zoom out,
and then the slow pan.
They all lived happily ever after. And if the film didn't end like that, I probably would have shot myself.
Yeah, true.
Because if it was just I don't love you anymore, bam, it was like. What?
Yeah.
And even though it's not a long film, it's about an hour and a half, hour and 40, hour and 35. Hour and 40, I still got pretty connected to these characters in that fairly short time. And so, yeah, the kind of I don't love you anymore was really like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because he was, the whole time during this argument, he said kind of he still loved her regardless. Yeah. And that was quite nice. But I'm not usually one for... Yeah, so that's kind of the end of the film. And then, it was pretty good. I don't think it's one of the best films ever made. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm interested to sort of watch the other two with you when they come in the list. And sort of see,
I'm interested, like...
what you think of those ones. Because they're in a very, very similar vein to this, of long takes, and it's all about the conversations between them. It's very dialogue-driven.
I'm not too into romance films.
Okay.
I mean, that's probably fairly evident. I mean... Not a huge amount of guys are into pure romance film. I was quite relieved when this was a drama film because I was like, "Oh shit, we're gonna get some drama," and there was
some drama.
There was a fair amount, but I don't know, some lovey-dovey soppy shit. I'm not huge on. Maybe that's because I'm a cold-hearted cynic, and I will die alone.
You're so dead inside.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
So I was kind of going into this one a bit kind of strange, but I enjoyed that.
I'm glad you came out of it.
It was probably
a mostly positive.
How about this? It's probably my favourite romantic film I've ever seen.
Oh, that's good. That's a really positive, yeah.
I was just looking over my collection. Are there any over there that are romantic? Jackie Brown, is that romantic? Silence of the Lambs. Now that is about one man's romance.
Ghostbusters 2 is...
Yep, that's a pretty romantic one. No, I don't really watch that many outwardly romantic films, so that would probably be... That's already up there.
Well, that's
I'd
good.
say. Unless I think of one in the next 5 minutes, I suppose I'm stuck with this, aren't I?
I mean, my favourite romantic film is definitely When Harry Met Sally. I'm just wondering if it's on this list or
I don't think
not.
I've seen that one.
I'm a big fan of that film. I watched it on New Year's Day this year. I mean, I love it.
Oh, shitters. I've just pressed some buttons here and... Oh, no. Can you close that? Can you close that?
What is that?
Click over here.
Yeah.
When... What is this? Oh, because it's a Reddit thread. Oh, fucking Reddit. Harry? No, it's not on the list. It's not on the list. Can you close that and go back up to the list, please? Sorry about that. Technically,
so that's not on there. Which
When Harry Met Sally, not on the list.
I love that film. I think it's one of the best rom-coms ever made. I mean, this is less of a com.
There was no com. Well, there was com. There was little com.
There's grains of com. Yeah,
and I enjoyed that bit, not a comedy. Sure. Now, Alien. That is a romantic film.
Now that is romantic.
About a woman's relationship
with her cat. Fucking cat, man. Oh, God.
I love that. Can't wait to
get a hernia watching that cat. Jesus Christ.
So yeah, that's kind of the end of the summary of the film. I don't usually watch romances, but I thought that was pretty good. I'd recommend it to some people.
Yeah.
Don't think I'd ever really watch it again. Unless maybe showing it to a girlfriend or something like that. I don't think I'd go out of my... Hey girl, you want to see a good film? I don't think I'd go out of my way to watch it. But because, I don't know, seeing it a second time, was it better or worse or same?
Well, I guess a couple of years ago. I guess I think same, actually. I think nothing much changed about it because it is so act-based.
Yeah.
There were a few things I sort of hadn't really noticed, but for the most part, you sort of know the drill.
Ethan Hawke's still good.
Ethan Hawke, yeah.
What else has he been? Like, honestly, Gattaca kind of been the only thing I know him from.
He was in a horror movie a couple of years ago, wasn't he?
Training Day, Before Sunrise, Regression, The Purge. Oh, he's in The Purge.
Oh, he's in The Purge, okay.
Total Recall, the new one. Ugh, I haven't even seen it. I've heard it's bad. Lord of War. Oh. That's flipping Nicky Cage doing his thing. Jimmy Show.
There's not a lot of big films
really.
up there.
Bloody hell, yeah. No. I thought he was bigger than that. I mean, he's a fairly big guy, but well, he's not a big guy.
No, he's not a big guy.
For you, yeah. So
yeah, positive experience.
Yeah, positive. But obviously, Positive Experience is one of the best films ever made.
I think if you're gonna watch it, we'll talk about it more when you've seen the others. I personally would watch, 1, 2, and
the other
3.
2 first. Yeah, maybe we should have done that. But
it'd be interesting to see, since you said you quite liked these characters, you'll now see it. You'll get to see when they met.
Yeah.
Funny, it's
going to be like Memento all over again.
Yeah, Memento.
But yeah, so I enjoyed that, and you enjoyed that.
I've got one.
Go ahead.
Last minute.
Go ahead. No, not last minute.
I mean, this is in the other 2 films as well, but in this film as well, especially, I just think, particularly since it's an American film with American actors, American director, this for them, Europe is more of a sort of an exciting thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's something this one is very sort of like, oh yes, we're drinking wine and having grapes.
Yeah.
And let's just walk by, let's walk by the piazza now.
Oh yes, the ruins.
Not in that accent.
Oh my god!
But for us, it's just sort of like, well, yeah, Europe. It's just down the road, isn't it? I guess for them, it's much more of like, oh wow, Europe. I just kept thinking all these shots of European beaches. I was just like, yeah, right, European beaches, you get it. But I imagine as an American, it's like, oh wow, European beach.
But
there's
a bit with a, oh my god, this church is 1,000 years old, and we've got a church
in London,
down the road.
It's like every fucking church is 1,000 years old, right? Where you come from?
The Abbey.
Well, the Abbey, must be exactly, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we're just cultured Europeans being all.
We're just so cultured. What can I say?
Yeah, just.
Oh dear.
But yeah, it was maybe made for an American audience, perhaps.
Yeah, I think
don't get in bed with French
chicks.
Chicks, fucking nuts, mate. So
is that really all you learned from this film?
French girls are nuts, and I love them.
And American guys are just as nuts.
Yeah.
In the spirit of equality.
In the spirit of equality. Well, there we go. That was Before Midnight, episode 2. The 249th best film ever made. Woo-hoo. If you can believe that.
So,
next episode
week
is...
All About My Mother by Pedro Almodovar. Which
I'll let you take that one.
I'm sure I just pronounced wrong.
All About My Mother, 1999. Obviously, we've got the whole list is in the comments, so feel free to check that at your leisure. It's foreign and weird by the looks of it, so I'm going to look forward to watching that.
Literally nothing about this film. Penelope Cruz is in it, apparently.
Oh, Penelope Cruz.
I mean, quite early. Maybe it was something of a breakout for it. I really don't know. But
so get watching that if you want. We'll be watching that. The episode will go up at some point. At some point. Listen to how committed I am to this.
I mean, definitely pre-2017.
Oh, I think we can say that. Yeah. And,
probably, unless something comes up. You never know.
You never know. I might fall in love with a French woman on a train and then leave my wife and my son and we'll live in fucking Chicago.
I'd love to do that. That sounds perfect.
So yeah, All About My Mother. Then we've got Ratatouille.
But after that, I mean, strength to strength. Ratatouille, Heat, then The Matrix. If that's not a triple bill, I don't know what is. That's perfect.
This list is very strange because
it's all over the place.
Episode 1 was Nosferatu, 1922, one of the earliest films.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why I've seen but we discussed earlier Nosferatu. We recorded back in November. We are now in January, and I've seen films between those times.
Yeah, of course.
But for some reason, just me and you sitting down and watching a film, I was like, "Fuck." This film was made in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Yeah.
But, 3 years, technically, if you want to be weird about it. But, yeah, I don't know why. I just suddenly, it hit me that we're not going to be watching films from 1922 constantly.
The whole time. Maybe,
got,
maybe we should have done it chronologically. Maybe we missed a bit.
Yeah, go through time.
I did think when I was looking through them, I did notice when it comes to more modern films, most of the time I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that. But when it's filmed from the 50s, it's just like, nope.
Well, funnily enough,
Shockingly enough, I've never seen Ugetsu Monogatari. That famous 1953 film by Kenji Mizoguchi.
Dude.
Is that racist? Is that that pronunciation?
No, you've already said
I really
Ugetsu
don't know
Monogatari.
how you meant to say it. But, that's 195.
Google that.
I mean, that's higher than Throne of Blood, whatever that is.
That's Akira Kurosawa. Come on now. Google that.
I mean, I know it's him, but I don't know what it is.
Google that. Oh, that looks great. That looks like laugh a minute. That does.
That's
fucking hell.
That poster looks...
Jesus, 100%
chipper.
on Rotten Tomatoes. That
Wow.
I'm going to be pleased after I've seen that. Jeez, that looks fucking depressing as all shit.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm going to be sad, aren't I? Oh, God, it looks so
It's a
depressing.
ghost
Oh, it's a
story.
ghost story. Ooh.
And an example of...
Period drama. Japanese period drama.
Okay.
Japan's golden age of film as well.
I mean, I'm definitely interested.
Oh, yeah, I'm down.
That's years away before we're going to get to 195 on the list. But stay tuned, because that'll be a good one.
Come on, if we do like one a day, that's like a month and a half.
You got time to do one a day.
The Man... That's interesting. They put for a few dollars more as The Man with No Name 2 for a few dollars more.
Yeah, I didn't get
I've
that.
never heard that.
No.
I've heard it called the Dollars Trilogy.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I think it was in the first one, which is...
Fistful of Dollars.
Maybe I haven't seen that then.
So there's
Is
Fistful
Good,
of Dollars.
Bad and Ugly in that trilogy?
Yeah.
Is that the third one?
Yeah. So there's
Right,
Fistful
I've
of
seen
Dollars.
Good, Bad and Ugly.
A few dollars more, Good, Man, the Ugly. And I think they actually get better from like Fistful of Dollars.
The one
is
that
alright.
I watched was Good, Bad and Ugly because that just...
that's the best one. I reckon that's the best one. But,
and that's a great film. I really enjoyed that.
For a few dollars more, has the music box that goes ding, 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 ding. They use it in Top Gear all the time, and it's a really cool thing. They kind of wind up the music box, and when it runs out, they draw. So there's like this
really
incredible
cool.
duel at the end where they ding,
that's so cool.
ding, 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 and it just slows down right down. It's like,
That's
bam! Oh, those films are pretty good. I'm not huge on westerns in general,
No, neither am I,
but those
I'm up
three
for that.
films
Yeah,
are pretty good. So that's totally unrelated, and you'll see those in a few years.
We're all over the place now.
We are all fucking over the place. But there you go. I'll just end this again, shall I?
You just do the sign off.
bastard.
Or
That was
do you want me
episode
to
2.
do it?
No, look, just give me a sec, will you?
Okay, Jesus Christ.
Just like an arguing couple, just like all of the films.
I
we
want to
just
move to
saw.
California without you. Was it? No, Chicago.
Chicago, that was it.
One or the other.
One of the other.
Either's fine.
Makes no difference. Okay. Thank you for watching. That was episode 2 before midnight. Next episode will be
All About My Mother.
all about my mother. Well remembered.
The
'cause
film,
it's
not
gone from
actually
there.
All About My Mother. 'cause
We're
that'd be
gonna
a
talk
very
about
different
Joe's
YouTube
mother.
video on a different channel. That's
So,
not for this channel.
If you want to keep up with us, watch that, or wait till our video about it comes out, then watch it. Do what you like. Don't watch
Live your
it.
life.
Do what
It's up to
you
you.
want to do. What is life, though, Joe? So
What is the South?
oh shit! Don't say that. So yeah, we could even add that. It was a little bit pretentious at parts,
Yes. I
but there we go. That was the 249th best film ever made, and we shall see you next time.
Night.
Don't say anything. We're still recording.
Okay, I won't.